Hi, I'm Joe from As the Joe Flies,
And I'm Leslie from Trips with Tykes.
and welcome back to Disney Deciphered. So the day is finally here, Leslie. We're finishing up our spring break chats. Gonna close it out with Save the Best for Last VIP Tour 101. Gonna talk a little bit about VIP tours and my experience with it. Before we get started, though, a lot of our patrons already heard about my VIP tour experience. What is Patreon? And I think we have someone to thank today.
Yes, that's right. We're thanking new Patreon supporter Sarah B. If you want to support the podcast, you can go to patreon.com/Disney Deciphered. And there you'll get bonus content, trip reports, ad-free episodes, lots of little extras, Facebook group membership, all that good stuff. We really do appreciate all of our supporters from now and over the years. So I hope you can join us there.
Definitely. So, like a VIP tour, let's get straight to it, Leslie. You don't want to waste any time. What is a VIP tour, Leslie? People talk about it. You and I are going on private tours. Are they VIP tours in Yellowstone? I don't know. We'll find out. But what is a VIP tour at Disney parks?
All right, you too can be a Kardashian. That's who I think of when I think of VIP tours. If you've seen the guides wearing the plaid outfits, sort of escorting people around, that is a VIP tour. These are personal guides for up to 10 people. And asterisk here, babies do count as people. This is not like dining reservations. And you can get sort of the VIP treatment while you're in Disney World, Disneyland. I think they're honestly like regular people can do it, but celebrities do it as well. But I think celebrities do it like at a different level than we access, Joe.
Yeah, I talked to our VIP guide, who I will shout out multiple times, but his name was Matthew Dean. Gave me permission to share his name. Loved him. If you're ever doing a VIP tour, request him. I think he's fairly popular, though, so I don't even know how we ended up with him. But he said that celebrities essentially do the same tour, but sometimes their access is a little bit extra. And the one thing he said to us is normally if it doesn't affect park ops, they have to work it out beforehand, but they can sneak them in through the back door and things like that. But the example we talked about was if Tom Hanks wanted to watch the Guardians of the Galaxy Terry Crews pre-show by himself, they would have to get special permission to do that because they'd have to, that affects 300 people. So they're
Got it.
essentially like us, the celebrities, but a little bit extra access. I'm not sure if they pay more. They might not even pay more. In fact, I don't think they do.
I know that when the Kardashians are at Disneyland, they always have multiple guides, more than one. So I'm guessing they pay more. But yeah, question whether the Kardashians are hashtag hosted. We'll never know. But I said regular people can do this, Joe. But what I didn't say is regular people with a lot of money can do this because this is very expensive. The current pricing at Walt Disney World is between $450 and $900 an hour, and you have to have a minimum of seven continuous hours. You can do more than that. And then at Disneyland, it's a little bit cheaper, I guess. The lowest price is still $450 an hour, but only goes up to $650 an hour. So I guess I better book this now while it's still cheap, Joe.
Yes, and that's per guide. So I think, Leslie, if you wanted to be a Kardashian, although who knows, Disneyland might have its own separate thing. But if you want to be a Kardashian at Disney World, at least, you could pay for 3 guides at $900 an hour each and, just do $2,700 an hour. It's more expensive, but you'll have more guides to carry all your stuff. So let's start by talking a little bit about what's not included in the VIP tour. So you're paying $450 to $900 an hour at Walt Disney World. You still have to pay for your park tickets. Most likely, you're going to want to pay for a park hopper to take advantage of the VIP tour in multiple parks. Of course, you don't have to do that, but you definitely have to have a park ticket at the very least. You need to get your own mobility devices, strollers, ECVs, wheelchairs. You have to get those on your own. If you're going to get those, they do not arrange it with Disney as far as I know. And in fact, it's tougher to do it with Disney because you have to make sure you're going to the pickup point at Disney and then meet your VIP guide and all that. And so I had a client who had an issue with that, ended up not getting an ECV at all for that day. And finally, what's not included is your meals. So any full meals that you want to have, that is not included on the VIP tour. But there's a lot of stuff that is included on a VIP tour. Leslie, what do we have?
All right, so the main reason people are taking VIP tours is to cut the line. And what you get on a VIP tour is access to the Lightning Lane for attractions. So this is not like a directly on the ride kind of thing. And we'll talk about that, I'm sure, a little bit more. But you do get access to the Lightning Lane. You also get VIP viewing for parades and shows and things like that. You also get some special surprises, but basically, that's like food and water, like snacks and water that come out of nowhere. And then finally, you get transportation between and among the parks, so you don't have to pile aboard, buses with the regular folk.
RIP the 3 months that they had those buses going between the parks backstage. Still miss them. Still wish they would bring them back. I wanted to talk about the transportation a little bit because it was a much more robust system than I thought it was going to be. Leslie, we've been on media trips before, and sometimes we're with like a guide or a host, not a VIP guide, but just like someone who was hosting us. And then we'd have to go backstage, but then we'd have to walk to their car, and then they have to unlock it and turn it on, all that stuff. This is not that. This is like there's a whole system back there. There's a loading area, and the VIP guide, when you're going between parks, they've already told the people who are working at that loading area, who are also VIP guides but working, I guess, amongst the transportation for the day, we're coming, get ready. The car is ready. It's there. It's already cool. Everything is set up for you. If you have an ECV, they have these extra long vans where they can load it into the back of the van. One thing that we found out, my sister had a stroller, and I did not know this. I thought we were going to have to break down the stroller every single time as if we were going on Disney transportation. No, they just loaded it straight on. They just picked it up, put it straight in the back of the van. I mean, that was really awesome. In my mind, I was like, every time we're going to get on transportation, it's going to take us 5, 10, 15 minutes just to get everyone organized. No, it was very snappy. Stroller goes on, everyone in, piles in, then they start shoving snacks in your face and you're gone. So yeah, lots of snacks back there backstage as well. Can't take pictures backstage, always got to say that, but really impressed with that system. Very smooth and very efficient. All right, wanted to go over some things that you need to know before you do a VIP tour. Let's talk about how to book, Leslie. There's a couple of phone numbers you can call. What do we got?
Right. So you need to call 407-560-4033. I feel like a commercial or something, to book for Disney World, or you can ask your travel agent. Hopefully that's Joe to do it for you, so you don't have to wait on hold. The booking opens 60 days before travel for Walt Disney World, so this is the same timeline as dining. There apparently are longer windows for Disneyland, so I don't exactly know what the timeline is there, Joe, but I know you've already booked a client for December here in May, so longer timeline. I guess they have to plan for more of those celebrities in LA.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the deal is with Disneyland because they will book you further out. And they're like, we don't even know what the price is yet. It won't be more than $650, but they are like ready to, it must be to plan for celebrities and things like that. Speaking of which, the Disneyland number is 714-300-7710. Donalds and Dominguez. That's for you SNL fans out there. You can Google that. But you can call those numbers or you can call me and I will help you out with all that. Yes. I love that SNL skit so much that I broke my no singing on the podcast rule for it. Okay, before you go on your trip, after you have booked your VIP tour, a couple of things you want to do. The first thing I would suggest is come up with your blue sky list of things that you want to do. Now for Disneyland, Leslie, it's awesome. They'll actually help you book dining as well for your VIP tour days. For Disney World, they won't do that. But think of the attractions, parades, rides that you want to do. Come up with that list, and then you're going to communicate that list to Disney Signature Services, and they will help you work on a plan. Now, my original plan was, Leslie, I was like, we want to go to Toy Story Land, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway at Hollywood Studios, then go to Epcot, do Guardians, Remy, Frozen, Anna and Elsa, and then go to Magic Kingdom and do Tron and anything else that we can get. Leslie, it was really useful. I told them this whole entire plan, and then later I was like, maybe I will start at Epcot and start at Guardians, change the order a little bit. And at that point, Signature Services, I called them for this. It was easier to talk about it on the phone because I was like, I don't want to go back and forth email. They're very good on email, but there's a lot of nuances when you're nerding out on your touring plan. And I didn't want to go over that over email with Signature Services. And I was like, what do you think if I started at Guardians, then ended at Remy, and then, went to Hollywood Studios instead? And they were like, that's a good idea, but I suggest you start at Remy's and ended Guardians because there are only certain places where you can meet the VIP tour guides. You had referenced before, Leslie, that they're wearing the plaid shirts. Well, they're not the only people in the parks who wear the plaid shirts. So they found that when they were like waiting around outside attractions, people would ask them questions. And of course, they're Disney cast members. They're super helpful. But then, everything would get confused. So at Epcot, for example, you could only meet them at the International Gateway or at the front of the park. And what they said was the signature services, and this was super useful and really, I think, set the tone for our entire day when we finally got there. They said the vans are at Guardians of the Galaxy. So you don't want to start there because you're going to go all the way to Remy's and then have to backtrack all the way. Start at Remy's, end at Guardians, and then you can get straight on the van and straight to Hollywood Studios. I thought that was awesome. And I never would have known that. I was like searching Reddit and stuff for where the vans were and stuff like that. It was much easier to talk to signature services who knew where it was.
Yeah, this is something that just isn't documented very well. So you're going to get your best information from the source. There's a blog post in there somewhere, Joe, but you probably have to take a lot of VIP tours to have all the data points. I mean, that's the problem is people take these once. Regular people take these once.
Yeah, life hack, just to spend $35,000 or however much it costs to be in Club 33, you get 5 VIP tours included per year, pays for itself. I think the thing is, Leslie, Club 33 members do not feel the need to have small independent travel blogs to write about this. But I was really searching for this information. I was like, where are these cars? Which direction do people walk? All this stuff. It's not out there. And you kind of have to mine the depths of Reddit and piece things together to try to figure it out. Instead of doing all that nonsense, call Signature Services. They know what they're talking about. And if you are the planner in your family, you probably enjoy the control. Just trust that Signature Services knows what they're talking about. The last thing you're going to need to do before the trip is you're going to give everyone's names and their mobility needs, if they have ECV, strollers, all that kind of stuff, so they can plan the transportation accordingly. Now, during the trip, you do get Lightning Lane access, but Leslie, you are very familiar with this. Part of me was like, I don't know, is this even that good? Because Lightning Lanes, I've waited 15, 20 minutes on the Lightning Lane before, Leslie. I mean, have you had that experience with Lightning Lanes before?
Yeah, sometimes 30. It can be bad sometimes.
Yeah, so it can be pretty brutal. Well, the nice thing is that I didn't know about is at certain attractions, there are faster than Lightning Lane access points. So Remy's has a single rider queue that they ended up never using, but VIP tours are allowed to go in through that queue. So that saves a ton of time. That was like the biggest time saver. The problem is, though, if there are attractions with pre-shows, typically you can't skip them. So you have to go through those anyway. But because of these certain attractions that have these single rider queues that you can go through faster, it is very nice and you can save more time than just regular Lightning Lane. So it is faster than normal Lightning Lane Genie Plus situation. And of course, you're not on your phone the whole entire time worrying about Genie Plus. Now, there is VIP viewing for parades and for fireworks. We did the VIP parade viewing. I'll get to that later, but that was excellent. So that's good to know. Definitely let them know if parades or fireworks is something that you're interested in. What else do you need to know about during the trip? The special snacks. We came out of Remy's and Matthew Dean had like 10 bottles of water for us and was just like, you get a water, you get a water. And they were all cold. So that was nice. And then at some other point, he heard our kids talking about popcorn. He got us popcorn. I mean, I think that's pretty standard to expect to get popcorn at some point. And then when we were at our VIP viewing for the parade, there was still more popcorn there and also Mickey bars. Actually, Matthew Dean took all of our orders and got Mickey bars, ice cream sandwiches. Dairy allergic daughter got one of those Olaf bars. So that was perfect. Now, Leslie, I did not include this in the blow by blow trip report for our Patreon members because I forgot. And I didn't think I told you this, Leslie, but we were eating and my sister was like, I really feel like getting something at Starbucks. And so she asked Matthew Dean and she was like, she doesn't know. I don't know why she didn't ask me now that I think about it, but she asked Matthew Dean, she was like, where is the nearest Starbucks? We were at Hollywood Studios and he was just like, what do you want? And she's like, no, I can go get it myself. And then he was like, no, just give me your order. She gave him her order and 5 minutes later, he showed up with the order. I think he texted Starbucks and they had it ready to go. I was like, whoa, I did a lot of Reddit mining for this. I did not know that they would bring Starbucks to you.
That is very interesting, and I wonder like what the direct line is. I presume he was not doing the regular pathway of waiting in a long queue or something like that. Yeah.
Honestly, even if she had to pay for it, just the fact that there's some cut the queue for Starbucks. And then I was like, you know, he's a pretty good VIP tour guide. Is he going above and beyond? I wasn't totally sure, which I think is, the best thing you can say about these VIP cast members. You don't know if they're going above and beyond or they're just that good or whatever. Well, later my sister was like, "Oh, it's not just him. I saw some other dude with 3 Starbucks cups and he had like one hooked in his arm." And I was like, "Whoa, we didn't ask for enough. Like we shot too low. We should ask for more."
Starbucks for everybody. You guys were easy. You only needed it for one person. But that's good to know. That's good to know that like they can sort of handle the idiosyncrasies of the guests. Because for some people it's probably one thing, and for somebody else it's another thing. That's good.
Yeah. In talking to him throughout the day, he is very much, and I think all of his colleagues are very much, they are just going to cater it to what your family needs. And I had talked to someone who is friends with a Club 33 member and has gone on a few of these VIP tours. And he was like, I feel like the VIP guides may walk intentionally slowly. So I asked about that. And Matthew Dean was like, oh, no, if you tell us you want to go fast, we'll go fast. If you tell us you want to go slow, we'll go slow. At least for him, he's like, I will go at whatever pace any of my clients want. If you want to go eat dinner for 2 hours, I'll just chill outside, whatever you want. And of course, that's what the Kardashians do. They'll do that, and their VIP guides just get to chill outside while they're waiting. Now, like we said, meals are on your own. We ended up mobile ordering. My sister and I picked it up while some of the rest of the group was taking in an attraction. I think it was the second time they went on Slinky Dog Dash. And so when they came with the VIP guide, they came and all the food was there and it was ready to go. So that was awesome. Now, I know you're going to want to know this, Leslie. You can pretty much ride everything as many times as you want. There's only a few restrictions. One is Tron and Rise of the Resistance, you can only do once. Guardians, you can only do twice, as long as operationally they're okay that day. And then finally, a weird one, Slinky Dog Dash, you can't do twice in a row, but you can do twice. So you have to brave alien swirling saucers as a little bit of a chaser before you go back on Slinky Dog Dash.
I knew you were going to mention that. I'm sure your son loved it. So what about if you want more time? Can you extend on the fly, or do you have to make your plans in advance?
Yeah, I was worried about that. And honestly, with 15 minutes to go, I was debating whether to extend or not. And it's basically, you can decide right then. 6 hours and 59 minutes in, you can decide. Like, as soon as you decide, you just tell the guide. And then at that point, you can extend up to 3 hours total. What's really nice is it's not per hour. It's in 15-minute increments after you go past that 7 hours at a fourth of the rate of whatever full hour is. So the way it works, I should have said this, the day before they charge your card. And so you'll get your charge for, let's say it's a $700 per hour tour. So you'll get a $4,900 charge. Yikes. On your credit card the day before. And then if you go the extra time, they'll do 15-minute increments and then they'll charge that, the next day. And so that's how that all works. So it was good to know that you didn't have to decide beforehand and lock yourself into something. Now, one thing people are really curious about is how much to tip these guides. I looked on the internet so much, and just really, it was so all over the place. The one thing that I read that I do feel like is probably true is that although the guides only make maybe $20 an hour, it's not like a huge amount. They are all thankful for any tip that anyone gives them. And, it's one of those situations where if you are doing a VIP tour to be more efficient with your money, we're going to say this later, like, how can a VIP tour be efficient? Well, it might be, depending on how you think about it. But if it's like really stretching your budget, a small tip, they'll be very thankful for that, because hopefully the Kardashians are tipping them thousands of dollars or something. I mean, you never know.
I hope.
Right. Right. But you're hoping it all balances out in the wash. I'll say what I did. I brought $400 in cash. I got like $400 bills to Disney World. Of course, Leslie, I left it in the hotel. So that was super useful. In fact, I still have to, I don't know, I got to deposit back in the bank or something, or go to Vegas or something like that, because I still have the $100 bills. But anyway, I was planning to tip 300, and then I was like, if the guide is really awesome, I'll tip 400. I feel like that was in the middle of what people do. And so that's what I went with. I know Yancey, your friend who we interviewed over 100 episodes ago in episode 218 about her VIP guide. I think she tipped $700 or $800. I think people are all over the place for what they tip. And then you also need to factor in if you have a Club 33 friend. You know why I keep saying that? Because if you are in Club 33, please let us know and be our friend. But anyway, if you have a Club 33 friend who gifted you a tour, then maybe you want to tip more just because you weren't paying for, it's just all these kinds of considerations. Just so you know, I was like, Matthew Dean, I'm sorry, man. I like forgot the cash. Do you have a Venmo? And he's like, yeah, I'll send you my Venmo. And then, so that's how we did that. So that was fine. Nowadays, like, I feel like even a year or two ago, cash was the more preferred way, but I feel like everyone is using these money apps. And so it's pretty normal to tip people that way. I mean, you tip your stylist that way too these days. So that works. All right. Some quick tips on what to do. Start at the park if you can. Like, you don't want to start at the hotel. You're just going to waste that time with transportation unless you have severe needs, or if you're not in a huge rush, you're just trying to take the ambiance in. Mobile order your food. We already talked about that. Communicate your expectations to the guide and to the people you're traveling with. As always, don't worry about sunk costs. They charged your card the day before. You're not getting that money back. Just enjoy the VIP tour as much as you can. And my last thing is, most of the cast members who are guides, they love Disney, and some of them have worked at Disney for a very long time and have a lot of great stories. I think I told you, Leslie, that Matthew Dean was involved in the Eisner vote of no confidence. Not sure which way he voted. I didn't ask, but that's how long he had been working for the company. There's so much, if you're the Disney nerd in your family, there's so much fun stuff that you can find out. So ask the guide questions. That will be very enjoyable for you. All right, Leslie, let's break down who a VIP tour might be for. For anyone who's doing this, it's going to be a huge expense, but there are some situations where it might make more sense than others.
Right. So first of all, it's for Kardashians. But if you're not a Kardashian, it is for groups like yours, Joe, multiple families. I think that's where you get the most value, because you can go up to 10 people. So if you find two families of 4 or 5, or siblings and grandparents and things like that, and multi-gen kind of situations, then it may make sense. I think it's also for folks who are staying off site. And this may seem a little bit counterintuitive, but if you're staying off site, you lose access to a lot of the shortcuts that folks like to use. But you're also saving money, right? So you have some money, maybe not for the full amount of the VIP tour, but you have some money to splurge with. So that may be the way to do it. So when you're not staying at a deluxe resort, you're staying off property, saving a bunch of cash, but you want to do the parks efficiently, then that's a way to do it. And again, that also can shave days off of a trip. If you have a short trip, you can make the trip even shorter by doing a VIP tour, doing more in a single day, especially if you're offsite where you'll be at a disadvantage.
Yeah, if you just do the math like really quickly, let's say you want extended evening hours for short lines, Beach Club is like $600 a night. If you find a place that's $200 a night off-site, you're saving $400 a day. If you're there for 5 days, that's like $2,000. That's like half a VIP tour already. Then you throw in multiple families, you all can be saving a bunch of money. And then don't forget, if you are thinking of paying for Genie Plus anyway, and Genie Plus is $30 a day, that's another $120. It's not as much as a VIP tour, but like, let's say you can do as much in one VIP tour as you would with 2 days of Genie Plus, then that's like another $250 right there. So it adds up pretty quickly.
For sure. So, other folks who should consider VIP tours, I mean, if you have any sort of special needs in your traveling group, you want to decrease stress. That's where you can get a lot of value out of it. Also, if you're in a group of adults, that's a great use of a VIP tour. Like, think of it as sort of grown-ups night out. I think I'm likely to do this with a group of friends at some point in the next couple of years, probably at Disneyland. And I know other folks who have done the same. So, maybe you don't want to bring your little kids. They're just going to slow you down. You want to test the fitness of the VIP tour guides and run them ragged all over the parks with your group of Disney adults.
With the Disney adults, though, you really need to agree on what you guys are going to do, because they're not like your kids where you can just tell them where to go and they have to listen.
Fair enough, fair enough. And then last but certainly not least, this is a great splurge. There's so many different ways that Disney will take your money, but this is one where you do get a lot of bang for your buck, and it's a really special experience. And I definitely have been keeping an eye on it for like a milestone birthday or anniversary or something like that. I guess I'm having a milestone anniversary this year, Joe. So maybe I'm gonna have to save it for my big 5 years down the road.
Not like Spoiled Joe, who just did it on a random spring break trip with his parents and his sister's family. Or my parents didn't come on the VIP tour, but anyway, I digress. If you are a Patreon subscriber and you're ready to listen to kind of our blow-by-blow recap, feel free to tune out now. Skip ahead to the Disney do or don't. But want to do a quick recap of our experience. Bottom line, TLDR, I think it was just a super relaxing day. I mentioned this in the big group episode, the last episode, episode 322. Normally, because I am doing all the work, Genie Plus, worrying about where people are going to be at what time, it's very tiring and exhausting. This VIP tour day, this was my day to relax and to enjoy it. I've mentioned him multiple times, but Matthew Dean was an amazing guide. Very enjoyable to talk to. Learned a lot about the company and how VIP tours work and what benefit they can bring to people. We had a near perfect day. VIP tour guides, unfortunately, cannot fix Disney's operational issues. That's one reason why we did not plan to go on Rise of the Resistance at all. Aside from the multiple pre-shows, it was just, I don't want to worry about it breaking down and then me looking at my watch and being like, oh, we just wasted 45 minutes of a VIP tour. So VIP guides can't fix that, but they can try to make it as smooth as possible. We had a near perfect operational day, so we should say that. But we were also there at the height of spring break. It was super crowded. Genie Plus was $40 a person, would have cost $400 for the entire family. Standby lines were regularly above 45 minutes for everything. And so throwing all that out there, this is what we did. As I discussed, we started at Remy's, got our water, went straight to Frozen Ever After, but before we did Frozen Ever After, we met Anna and Elsa, which is the only character meet and greet that does not have a lightning lane that VIP guides can help cut in. So that was awesome. The youngest kids were super happy to meet them. Rode Frozen, rode Guardians, debated riding Guardians twice, but that was the one operational issue. We were in the Guardians queue for about 30 minutes. One thing that was really nice, Leslie, that I didn't mention is VIP guides are there to make things work for your family. So for Guardians, we had kids who were too short. And so Matthew Dean took them to a playground and just hung out with them there while everyone else rode the attraction. But they also do the opposite. Let's say your kids want to go on Space Mountain and you don't. The guide will ride with the kids while the adults can relax. So you don't have to stay together all the time. And one tip that I forgot to mention, and I forgot to write in the notes, I know you'll love this. Let's say you and me are together and I really want to go to Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor and you really want to go on Space Mountain. Well, you can ask the guide to drop Group A off at Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, then take Group B through wherever they need to go to get onto Space Mountain, and then everyone can meet up at the end. So, I mean, that is super useful. We didn't want to do that just because we wanted to stay together for most of the time, but I can imagine that can make things very efficient.
Yeah, that's helpful to know that you can divide and conquer. This makes me want to know, Joe, what shoes are the VIP tour guides wearing? And like, how often are they replacing them? Because like the number of steps these guys must log is just astounding.
Just for Starbucks trips alone, right? I mean, he was to Starbucks. I know, I just can't get over it. He's to Starbucks and back so fast. Yeah, definitely agree. But it was good to know that like every single ride has its own how far does the VIP guide have to go with you rule. But whenever they work out, you can split up. For example, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, he has to go all the way through with you. So he could theoretically drop someone off somewhere and then, or maybe I mixed that one up. But, there are rides where they have to go all the way through with you. But when they don't, you can split up easily. All right, so got off Guardians of the Galaxy. I think that's when we got our popcorn. Then, like I said, the van was waiting right outside. I mean, I think it's like 50 yards away. You just go backstage and the vans are right there. So if you're in Epcot, definitely end Epcot at Guardians if you're going to park hop somewhere else, because the vans are right there. Took the van to Hollywood Studios, did Mickey and Minnie's, Toy Story Land, ate lunch, did all that stuff. Skipped Tower of Terror just because not enough of us were going to want to go on this. So Matthew Dean had made we started our tour at 10 just because, like I said in the group thing, people weren't fast enough. And so we met him outside of the International Gateway, and he's like, yeah, I have VIP seating for the parade at Magic Kingdom set up at 3:00. And I was like, there's no way we're going to get through all the stuff that we have listed at Epcot and Hollywood Studios. Well, this is why I say trust the guides. Yes, there weren't many operational issues, but I mean, we had time to eat lunch. We ate a fairly leisurely lunch if you consider the VIP tour. Like, we were there for like half an hour. I mean, we had some pretty young kids that needed a break, but we were at Magic Kingdom by 3:15, and he was like, as long as we're at the train station by 3:25, you'll see the parade. And that was great viewing for a parade. Quick Disney do, even if you don't have a VIP guide, you can watch from the train station. Again, we were there height of spring break. The VIP guides have a roped off section right in the middle of the train station, but to the right and left, plenty of room on spring break for people to watch the parade. It was a great view of the parade. We ate our Mickey bars there. Then we went on Tron. Then we went on Barnstormer. Don't talk to me about it. Just no comment. Just like, we had to throw the little kids a bone. We went on Barnstormer, and then we finished off at Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. But the little girls who were with me, who I decided to sit out with them, they didn't want to go to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. And so one nice thing is the VIP guide can drop you off somewhere at the very, very end, like at 6 hours and 59 minutes. So he dropped us off at Winnie the Pooh so that we got through the lightning lane at Winnie the Pooh before we parted. And that works for VIP parade viewing, VIP fireworks viewing. As long as they can drop you off before they have to leave, you get to see that. So all in all, an awesome day. My daughter made a card for him when she got home. And yeah, we were just very happy our entire experience and just thoroughly enjoyed it and tempted to do it again, although we probably will wait a little while to do that.
Wait for me next time, Joe. Maybe one of these days we'll get to do one together. Sounds like a great experience, and I'm glad you got to experience it and got such a great VIP tour guide. I mean, the folks who do it, they really do seem amazing. I do have the chance to talk to some folks, and then I'm often with other guests who have done VIP tour guides, and even a year later, the VIP tour guides will spot and recognize people. It's amazing, their people skills and their logistical skills as well for navigating Disney. It almost makes me want to do it almost one day.
Come on, milestone birthdays, you should do it. I mean, I think you should do it at Disneyland. Number one,
yeah,
it's cheaper. I don't know why it maxed out at $650, but it does. So it's way cheaper, relatively speaking. But at Disneyland, everything is so close. And also with the attractions like in Fantasyland where there aren't lightning lanes, I just got to imagine it's just so much more efficient. And they probably help you navigate. I mean, one of the nicest things about having a VIP guide is just not worrying about just the little things that, those little stresses that add up on a Disney vacation, not having to worry about that. And at Disneyland, I imagine where just it's so tight and so dense, it probably feels more valuable to pay for the VIP tour. So maybe we'll do that.
Sounds good, Joe. Well, why don't you leave us with a Disney do or don't?
All right. Well, I've alluded to this multiple times, but if you're going to do a VIP tour, just relax when you're on the tour. Just relax, enjoy it, enjoy the ride. You're not getting that money back. I'm saying that again. And you've already paid it. You decided that it was worth a splurge. Don't make it not worth a splurge by having a bad time because you can't relax. So just really enjoy it. Go with the flow. Trust your guide. They really know what they're doing. And I think that you will have an amazing time. And Will you wish you had the money back? Maybe, but probably not. Probably worth the splurge, at least for once in a lifetime, if you've decided to do it.
Got it. Sounds awesome, Joe.
We also call that confirmation bias. But yes, if you've done a VIP tour, please let us know your experiences. Let us know if there are any tips that you have that we missed. DisneyDeciphered@gmail.com, at WWDeciphered on Twitter, or on Instagram, Disney Deciphered. Thank you, everyone, for listening to all our spring break recaps for the last month and a half that we've been doing them. And other than that, Leslie, thank you for taking the time to talk to me. And I will see you on our Chung and Harvey VIP tour for our milestone decade birthdays in a few years.
Thanks, Joe.